Who's ready for part 3 of our customizable earring series? Me. In part 1, we made these round earrings, a basic round earring frame shape. In part 2, we made a teardrop shape with a couple of little swirls. And now we're going to make 6 different little shapes that you can either customize your basic earrings with, or you can put these shapes together on their own and make earrings with them. Like, just kind of have fun with putting shapes together and making your own designs. You can add some beads to them, like this. You can weave some little beads into your design. You can hang a bead from your loop up there. Just the possibilities are endless, and it's a blast. So I hope that this helps you in your design making, and that you just put together all kinds of unique possibilities that are just uniquely yours. Make it yours. So to make these 6 shapes that we're going to concentrate on today, I'm using 18 gauge copper wire. It's really the perfect gauge for making small loops and being able to adjust them. So that works really well. You will need some probably 24 gauge weaving wire to weave your designs into your earrings, which I probably won't do today. I think we're just going to concentrate on making the shapes today. You'll need a bench block and a chasing hammer. You'll need a ruler. You'll need 6-step bail pliers, probably some tweezer nose pliers, some round nose pliers, a flush cutter, and either your nylon jaw pliers or just your hands or a cloth to straighten out your wire. All right, let's do it. Now these are all super simple shapes and easily adaptable. You can make them as large or as small as you want. You can make the loops as large or as small as you want. So that's part of the fun of this. It's not super precise. You can do whatever you want. So the first one we're going to make is this little octopus looking shape here. And all you need for that is a 2.5-inch piece of wire and round nose pliers. The first thing we're going to do is make our middle loop. And I like sort of a larger middle loop there, so I'm really choking up on the part of my round nose pliers here that's going to make the biggest loop. So center your wire in your round nose pliers. Just bend the wires up on each side. Make sure that your ends are even with each other. Cross them over. Make a teardrop shape. You have that. And then we're going to make our little end loops. And to do that, we're just going to curl the ends of the wire in toward our center loop. So grab your wire about wherever you want. Let's see, how big do I want this? So I'm going to make my outside loops a little bit smaller than the inside, than the main loop. So again, take your wire, put it between your pliers, make sure that it's flush, nothing sticking out. Hold on to your main loop here and bend your wire into a loop like that, and turn it over. Do the other side. Easy peasy. And I would advise making two at once. Whatever we do today, make them both at the same time so that you can make them both look even. So with this one, see, my center loop is bigger than that loop, so I'm just going to bring these ends out a little bit and try to make this the same size as the first one that I made. And when I have it the way I want it, I'm going to gently hammer it. We want to hammer it into shape so that that shape locks in, and it gives the wire, of course, strength and some character. You can see that the flat wire that I have, well, the wire that I've hammered here looks flat, picks up the light, and that's what we're going to do to this one. And I like to do both sides. And once you have that done, keep comparing it to the one that you just made. If you need to make adjustments, you still can. You can shape it a little bit more. You can bend the ends out a little bit more, whatever you need to do. And that ends up being a really fun piece that you can put inside of a round earring. You can make it off center. You can put it in our teardrop shaped earrings. That one may be a little bit big for that, but that's okay, because if you really wanted to do that, you would just make these loops a little smaller to make room for, or you'd curl them up a little more to make room for this element. So there is, oh, and you can also, oh, look, you can put these together like this, wire them together, and there's a simple earring. Or you could weave some beads into it here and there, and that makes a beautiful earring. See, once you get going with this, you will think of all kinds of possibilities. All right, so that's shape number one. Let's go on to shape two. For this next shape, it's going to be similar to our little octopus, but this one's going to have another arm. Going to have another little curl on the end. And for this one, you will need a 4-inch piece of wire, flush cut on each end. Also have a ruler handy and a pen because we're going to mark something, and use your bail making pliers. I'm going to call this the 3-2-1 because the first loop I make is going to be the center loop, and I'm going to use the third step on the bail making pliers. So center your wire on the third step, bend the ends up, make sure they're even, and then cross them over into a teardrop shape. Okay. And take them off the pliers, and we're going to make a mark on each side of this intersection. It will help us, well, it will help me to make our second loops evenly spaced. Y'all can probably eyeball this, but I just like to mark it. So what we're going to do here is place the intersection of our loop on a millimeter mark here, anywhere on the ruler, and then go out 5 millimeters and make a mark. Okay, did you see that? Let's see where our intersection is right here, and go out and make a mark at 5 millimeters. Do the same thing on the other side, just turn it over or upside down or however. Place that intersection on a millimeter mark along there, and then mark out 5 millimeters. Then we're going to use the second step of our pliers to make the second loop here. And we're going to bend this loop toward our center loop. So find your mark that you just made at 5 millimeters, place it right in the center of your second step on the bail making pliers, and make a loop. And when you get to about here, where it looks like a bow, rotate your pliers a little bit and keep bending until this wire is touching our 5 millimeter mark. I hope you can see that. Maybe not. Sorry, the lighting is not allowing that. Maybe it'll work on the other one, on the other end. All right, so remove your pliers from that one. Simply turn it over. Find your 5 millimeter mark there. Center it on the second step and bend. When you get to about there, just kind of rotate a little bit to get your pliers out of the way and bend that down. And I don't know if you saw what I just did, but I used the first step instead of the second step. So I'll put my second step back in here and kind of make sure that these two loops are even, and they are. Now at this point, I like to start shaping it a little bit. So the one I'm making needs, I feel like the loops need to come out a little bit. So I'm simply going to grab each of the smaller loops and bring them out a little bit. And now we can make our end loop. And this time I really am going to use the, the first step and simply grab the tip of your wire, grab your whole element right here so that it doesn't move, and make your end loop until it touches or just about touches right there. Turn it over and make the other one. So now you may think it looks a little bit like a hot mess, and that's okay. We need it to look like this, and right now it's all tight. It needs to relax and come out a little bit. So I am going to take my round nose pliers and bend this end loop out a little bit, maintaining a curve right here. Let's do the other side, see if I can show you any better. So I'm just putting my round nose pliers in here and sort of bending out a little bit. I know there are better ways to do this. There are all kinds of ways to do this. So however is comfortable for you, you have fun with it. The main thing is just get it into the shape you want. And what I'm aiming for is the same distance between the loops here. These are off a little bit, so I'm going to grab my second loop here and just kind of bend it in. That looks good to me. Actually, let's see here. I think my center loop is a little off center. Okay. When you have it the way you want it, again, put it on your bench block. Give it a light hammer on each side to set the shape into place. Give the string give the string some wire. Give the wire some string. And again, where we flattened that out, the light just catches it so pretty. Now I'm kind of hurrying here because I don't want to bore you with all my little minor adjustments. You can adjust these to your liking. You can see that this one is still a little bit larger than that one. That's okay. For demonstration purposes, I hope you got how to make that shape. And again, with this shape, see, you can put them together like that and make one big, beautiful earring. You can put beads in it. Look! Oh, I may have to just put a wire on that and make earrings. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. But I digress. Again, I do that a lot. So the main thing that I like to do with this shape is put it inside of, pardon me, put it inside of a round, our round shape, our round earring frame. Look, so pretty. Love it. I don't know if this would fit inside our, no, this won't fit inside our teardrop shape, but it'll sure fit in here. So, and again, you know that I'm not taking the time to wire these pieces in. But if you were to wire this piece in, you would anchor it here. You'd anchor these end loops to the side, and you would anchor this big loop on the bottom of the earring there. Simple, beautiful. And now let's do number 3. Our next shape is this little cute, fun, but also elegant S swirl. It's fun to make, it's easy to make, and it's really versatile as a design element. So all you're going to need is a 2.5-inch piece of your 18 gauge wire, your round nose pliers, and either needle nose pliers or chain nose pliers. So the first thing to do is to make one of our end loops. The thing about this one is just take your time with it. I know I say that a lot, but do take your time with it. Get it exactly the way you want it. So grab the end of your wire wherever you want along your round nose pliers here, and we're going to make this little end loop. So I want it fairly tight, so I'm using my thumb to kind of keep the wire up next to the pliers. Now when I get to here, just before the end of the wire touches our main wire, I'm going to stop there. Now to make this outer curl around our small curl there, I'm going to grab onto the loop right about there. See how you can barely see the wire on each side there? And this takes just a little finesse and practice. We're not going to bend the wire close to this loop. We're going to grab it out here, and that's where the pressure is going to be, along with on our right hand. So just start kind of slowly bending both hands like this, and you can see how this curve is starting to curve around our loop there. And then when I get a certain amount, a certain distance along the way, I'm going to maybe rotate the pliers a little bit and keep our loop kind of centered in our pliers there, and keep gently bending and rotating that wire. Now what we're after really is an equal amount of distance between our outer curl and our inner curl. And this will make sense in a minute, I think. So just keep grabbing your wire there and keep curling using really your left hand to make that curl. Now that's not bad. I think there's a little more distance right here than there is right here. And I want to adjust that a little bit. So see, I just put my pliers in my loop and just adjusted that outside loop a little bit. Let's do the other side. Maybe it will make more sense the second time. So take your other end of your wire in your pliers, and we're going to bend it the opposite way of this curl. So make a tight loop until you get it about there. Then grab that loop with your pliers, and again hold on to this element on the other end and sort of rotate both hands, slowly making that loop. When you get to where you need to adjust again, remove the pliers and reposition them. Just kind of keep watching your space in here. Keep going. And then we want both ends here to be the same circumference, basically. So you may have to keep working back and forth from one end to the other. Not bad. And again, these aren't going to necessarily be exactly the same. All right, these are handmade wearable art pieces. They're not going to look mass produced because they're not mass produced. Thank goodness. So when you get it looking the way you want, got your little curly whirlies facing the way you want, same size, same shape, and all that, then let's give it a little character on the bench block with the chasing hammer. And as you're comparing it to one that you just made, you can see, like, I made this one the other day, so clearly my rhythm is different today, so this one looks different. That's fine. No worries. I can make these all day. But I did make these two in the same day. And here's something else you can do with these. I love playing with these. I'm telling you, you're going to make some cute earrings. You can put those together. Look what else you can do. You can put them like this, and you can either put a little loop up here or some jump rings or some wire wrapped beads and make a top for your earring. But you know me, I digress. What I did these for originally, stick to the plan, Nancy, was to embellish our round framed earrings. Look how fun that is. Ah, and again, you will just, if you're going to wire these in, you're going to wire them, anchor them right here, and anchor them down here at the bottom. What else can we do with these? Now, see, this would be fun too. This would be super girly, is to put one into our teardrop shaped earring. Too much fun. Too much fun. It should be outlawed. No, not really. All right, let's do the next one. Next is a modified figure 8. Small loop on top, large loop on the bottom. Super simple. And for this, you will just need a 2.5-inch piece of 18 gauge wire and your bail making pliers. And 2.5 inches is more than you need. We'll have to trim some off, but you need to give yourself a little bit of wire to work with. So what we're going to do is take the end of the wire and use your first step on the bail making pliers to make the top loop. And with this one, you do want the loop touching the main wire. All right, so there is our first little loop. Now we're going to use the 5th step on the bail making pliers to make the bigger circle just below our loop there. So place your form into your bail making pliers so that this is your 5th step and your wire looks like this. The first loop is curled up like that. And then simply curl this wire around, We're going to meet that loop on top. Now when you get to about here, you can rotate your pliers a little bit and then bring that wire across until it's like parallel with that loop. See what I mean? Like this. Now let's flush cut what we don't need on this wire. So you're simply going to put your flush cutters in here with the flush end next to your work. All right, we're going to cut off that excess right inside that loop. Okay, now we have a little gap there, but that's fine. We're going to shape it up. You can do that in a number of ways. Just put some pliers in your big loop, kind of adjust it until it touches, and adjust your top loop so that it looks like it's one continuous, well, you have to use your imagination, but like it's one continuous piece of wire there, a figure eight. Just keep working with it until both tips touch your main wire. You've got it the shape and the size that you want. Okay, we're going to give it a few little whacks. And when you hammer it, it's probably going to come apart a little bit, maybe be misshapen a little bit. That's all right. Take the pliers of your choice, kind of squeeze that together. Adjust your shape a little bit until you have your figure eight. And these are fun too. Let's see, what could we do with these on their own? You could do something with those on their own. But again, look, that makes kind of a funky, fun earring with it off-centered in a round earring. Or you could do that. You can put beads in it. You can turn them upside down, configure them that way. What can we do with the teardrop shape with the figure eights? Oh yeah. Something a little funky like that. Fun. All right, so that's just another little fun shape. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to show you two versions of our next little curly whirly. One with smaller loops at the end and one with larger oops. We don't want any oopses, larger loops at the ends. And for each of these, you need 2.5 inches of wire and bail making pliers. So we're going to make our end loops first, and I'm going to use the second step on my bail making pliers. So grab your wire, make sure it's flush, and just make a loop until it touches the main wire. And do the same thing to the other end. Now we have our 2 small loops on the ends. Now to make our middle loop, I'm going to use the third step on my bail making pliers. So there's my third step facing me, and center your wire right in there so that these end loops are facing upward that way. And then make your center loop by bending those 2 wires around the third step there. And there we have our little element You can see that mine's a little off center, I think, or is that an optical illusion? No, it's off center. So I'm going to put my center loop back on here and make a few adjustments so that this whole piece is even. There, that's better. And when you get it the way you want it, you know what to do. Give that little sucker a few taps. Of course, it's going to want to get out of shape a little bit. That's not a problem. You know how to fix that. Put your center loop back in there. Bend however you need to. Make adjustments. Get it just the way you want it. Now, to do one that has the same size loops, all 3 loops, we're going to do the same thing. We are just simply going to use the 3rd step on our bail making pliers for all of these loops. So locate your 3rd step on your bail making pliers. Make an end loop. Like that. Turn it over, make the other loop on the other end. Till you have that. Place it back on the 3rd step. 3rd step's facing me. My wire looks like this. Loops are facing that way. We're going to bend this way. Just bend those loops right on over each other. Until you have that. Now it looks like I want these ends touching, so it looks like I need to make little minor adjustments here until my ends touch my main frame. Like that. And then hammer it into shape. Misshapen? No worries. Shape it back up. And there you have that version of our little element there. And again, you be the designer. It looks fun in the round shape. Oh, look. Look what you can do. Beads in it, copper beads, colored beads. Oh, I like it. You can turn it over so that it's facing that way. You can use it in the teardrop shaped earrings like that. That would be really pretty with beads in it, with or without. There are so many ways you can use these elements that we have experimented with in this series. And it doesn't have to be the round frame. It doesn't have to be the teardrop shape. You can do anything you want. Want to make square or triangular shaped earrings? Yes. The geometric shapes like that with these curly shapes would be fun. You can put these curly shapes together and make earrings. The possibilities are endless and the fun is endless. Now, of course, we're not done here. When you get your shapes wired into your earrings or, whatever you're going to do with them, You're going to then polish them, right? You're either going to polish them, you're going to either sand out the hammer marks on your earrings and get them nice and polished, or my personal all-time favorite, the jewelry tumbler. I always run mine through the jewelry tumbler. And of course, none of these have been run through the tumbler yet, but as good as they look now and as shiny and as fun and full of character, they're going to look 100 times better once I put them through the jewelry tumbler and then put Protect-A-Clear on them to protect my work. You know, we go to all this work and then we really need to protect it for years to come. So do all the steps, take your time. Let me know if you have any questions, and let me know what you want to see next. Do you want to see some? You want to see some chandelier style earrings? Um, Let me know what you want to see because we can do it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you again soon.